To start the third part of what if Naruto became Hokage after Pain Off, we have to do some power scaling in order to find out how strong Sage Naruto is compared to all the other Kage. So it goes without saying that Pain was one of the strongest characters in the show, with even the lesser paths capable of matching Sage Jiraiya in terms of speed, strength, and durability, and the stronger Ashura and Diva paths able to just straight up toss him around like a toy. Base Jiraiya is stated to be Kage level numerous times, and in Sage mode he says that he surpasses the title of Kage in general. I'll be talking about this more in my Sanin vs Pain video, but Jiraiya by himself stands absolutely no chance of defeating Pain under normal circumstances. Pain also took down the entire Leaf Village, which makes up a fifth of the full Shinobi Alliance, meaning that Pain took down almost 16,000 people at once. Now, you could argue that maybe some of the Shinobi came from the Fire Nation in general, not just the Leaf Village, but they're all wearing Leaf Village vests and the Leaf Village symbol, so I really don't think that that is supported at all. Like, Konoha is implied to be the main force in the Fire Country, so I think it's fair to say that Pain took down a fifth of the Shinobi Alliance. Obito states that Naruto, who lost to Pain, is far superior to Sasuke and so on. Pain has a lot more scaling, but other people have already talked about how strong he is, and the purpose of this video isn't to power scale characters, so I'll leave a couple links to videos that I think explain Pain's power very well. Naruto in Sage mode is able to blatantly overpower even the strongest paths of Pain and Taijutsu without much effort at all, and even in base is able to somewhat hold his own against the Diva path in a Taijutsu clash, the Diva path being the one who was able to toss Sage Jiraiya, who surpasses the title of Kage, around like a toy. It's also worth noting that while Sage mode is a big boost to one's physical power, it's not an insanely large boost. Base Naruto was somewhat holding on against the Diva path in a Taijutsu clash, so they are at least a little bit relative. But then Sage Naruto comes along and Tendo is still blocking punches from him. He's getting overpowered for sure, but he's not getting annihilated like you'd expect him to if Sage mode was, say, a 10 times multiplier to one's base form. I plan to talk about how strong Sage mode is in a future video as well. The 5 Kage Summit happens literally the day after Pain's assault, so Naruto here should be equal to the Naruto who fought Pain. Hiruzen is also stated to be stronger than all the other Kage at the time, even as an old man. Sage Jiraiya should scale above him since base Orochimaru scales to him, and Sage Naruto scales way above Sage Jiraiya. As for speed, Sage Naruto's reaction speed and danger sensing allowed him to move faster than the third Raikage in close quarters combat. He obviously wouldn't win in a race against A, but he is faster, or at least relative in terms of combat speed. Now granted, this was after a couple month time skip, but I do think that by scaling, Sage Naruto in the 5 Kage Summit arc should be able to do the same. He should be able to dodge attacks from the 4th Raikage, especially if Sasuke, who was a lot weaker at this point than Naruto, could. All this is to say that Sage Naruto is undoubtedly one of the strongest people in the world at this point, even in base. Like, seriously, base Naruto might be somewhat on par with Sage Jiraiya physicality-wise, which is crazy to think about. Sage Naruto would undoubtedly be stronger than all the other Kage. Now, with that out of the way, let's get back into the story. In a large room where Sasuke originally fought the Raikage, 2 Kage stand ready for battle with the 3 other Kage watching from the side, ready to intervene if necessary. Are you sure about this? He's the Raikage, one of the most legendary shinobi of our era. And I don't care. If this is what it takes to get Sasuke back, then I'll do it. I'll beat this old man. Ooh, good thing the big guy's standing on the other side of the room, far enough not to hear you. Please, Naruto, just don't mess this up. Shukaku sighs as Naruto creates 2 shadow clones and stuns them off to gather Sage Chakra. Are the 2 combatants ready to begin? Ready. I'll squash this little twerp like a bug. Remember, lethal force is prohibited. The fight ends if I say so. Ready? Begin! The Raikage charges at Naruto in his level 1 lightning cloak. Naruto starts off at a huge disadvantage. He's in base form and he can't make more than a couple clones because his other clones are gathering Sage Chakra in the background and cannot be interfered with. Naruto goes on the defensive. He's able to track the Raikage's movements with his eyes, and his body is just fast enough to dodge A's first attack and jump back. The Raikage doesn't let up and instantly goes for Naruto again. And again, the blonde is fast enough to dodge and tries to counterattack with a punch of his own, but the Raikage blocks his punch with his right arm. He feels pain from the impact, but not enough to make him acknowledge Naruto as a worthy foe. I expected more from the guy who apparently took down the leader of the Akatsuki. A shouts as he tries to hit Naruto with a haymaker, but the blonde ducks beneath the arm and tries to hit A with an uppercut to the gut, only to get kicked away by the hulking man. Naruto painfully crashes into the wall. What's wrong? What was all that big talk for if you're this weak? Oh, I'm not done yet, Naruto yells out as he creates 2 shadow clones, one of which forms a Rasengan in Naruto's hand. All 3 Narutos charge at the Raikage, who himself goes in for a punch to the real Naruto's face. However, the 2 clones get in front of Naruto and one of them takes the blow while the other one tries to punch A in the face. But the Raikage lifts his arm, blocks the punch, and kicks the clone away. A beats the clones quite easily, but they are a good enough distraction for the real Naruto to get in front of A and shove a Rasengan into his gut. The Raikage isn't able to maneuver his arms to block the attack fast enough. The Rasengan actually causes pain to A and launches him a good few meters back. Both fighters take a moment to breathe. I can't believe it, the Hokage is actually keeping up with the boss. Yeah, but he's barely holding on. How long will he last when the boss goes full power? I wouldn't be so sure about him only barely holding on. So far, they seem about even to me. At least in terms of speed and physical power. Though it appears that the Raikage does hold the durability advantage. You're not as weak as I thought you were, but this is nothing, the Raikage shouts as he powers up to his level 2 lightning armor. Naruto has to be careful now. Kakashi, having whipped out a Sharingan, states to Shukaku. The Raikage has reached Bijou levels of power. This won't be pretty. Yeah. The Raikage suddenly disappears. What? Where he... Naruto gets cut off as he is hit with a devastating chop to the cheek and goes flying into a wall again. Yikes, this guy hits like a truck. 1 or 2 more direct hits and I'm done for, Naruto remarks as he recollects himself. He tries to get back up, but the Raikage is already on him. A grabs Naruto by his head and throws him across the room. This time, the Hokage lands on his feet. He creates 2 more shadow clones, but before they can even do anything, the Raikage blitzes and poofs them out of existence. He looms over Naruto. Is this the best you can do? Such a letdown. We'll see about that. Naruto suddenly poofs away. A shadow clone? When did he... The Raikage wastes no time finishing his sentence, and instead turns around and sees a massive shuriken flying towards him. You think something like this is gonna do anything, you brat? The Raikage doesn't even bother dodging or blocking. Instead, he just takes the shuriken to the chest. But instead of breaking upon impact, the shuriken transforms into Naruto holding a massive Rasengan, similar to the one that he used in his fight against the Itachi clone at the beginning of the series, in his hand. Naruto tries to hit A, but the Raikage is fast enough at this point to dodge the attack and hit the blonde with a punch to the gut, making Naruto cough up some blood and sending him flying into the ceiling and back down. Instead of letting the Hokage fall to the ground, the Raikage catches Naruto and prepares to perform a lighter bomb. Wait, stop, don't do it, Darui shouts, but it's too late. The Raikage slams Naruto into the ground in enough force to cripple the teen at best and kill him at worst. The ground crumbles and a huge dust cloud arises. The room goes quiet, the only noise being the chirping of A's lightning armor and the sound of debris falling. Meanwhile, in the Root's hideout, Danzo is done unwrapping his arm. He takes a look around himself. Dozens of his Anbu are clashing with Team Taka, with the latter winning quite easily. Sasuke is spamming his Amaterasu, having unlocked better control of it. In the corner of his eye, Danzo sees Madara standing in the background. The masked man leaps into the battlefield. Danzo gets curious. Why would he, of all people, want to do his dirty work? Why now? Madara singles out one individual from the crowd of Anbu. Torune, the Aburame clan prodigy, able to use poisonous bugs. He might be useful for what's coming next. Madara suddenly slips into the ground and appears right in front of Torune, using his Sharingan to put him under Genjutsu and send him to the Kamui dimension. What? Why would he abduct Torune? Well, it doesn't really matter. Right now, my only objective is to survive. Danzo goes in for an attack on Sasuke, with the Uchiha noticing the old man at the last second and dodging out of the way. So, you've finally decided to stop letting your underlings die for you? Sasuke mocks before seeing Danzo's right arm. What is this? The Hashirama cell arm had many Sharingan implanted onto it. Before Sasuke could think, Danzo once again attacked. The fight doesn't actually go like it does in canon. It's implied that Sasuke awakened the Susanoo during the fight with the Raikage, so he wouldn't have it here yet. There are many Anbu here, and Jugo and Suigetsu are here as well. Madara's also going around abducting Anbu for his own purposes. Furthermore, this is a completely different location. Instead of fighting on a massive bridge, now the fight takes place in an isolated space with many different bridges and ledges and places to jump off of. It's a much more complex location, and Danzo's group has the home advantage here. Sasuke unsheathes his sword and blocks Danzo's hand, which is gripping a kunai. They enter a Kenjutsu battle, Sasuke using his sword's longer range to his advantage and Danzo using a kunai in both hands to give himself more options of attack and defense. Sparks are flying everywhere every time metal clashes against metal. An Anbu tries to attack Sasuke from behind, but Suigetsu gets in the way and cuts Danzo's minion down with the Executioner's blade. Focus on Danzo and don't worry about the others, we'll take care of them, Suigetsu shouts to Sasuke, who doesn't respond. He was planning on doing that anyway. Sasuke and Danzo go on to have pretty much the same dialogue as they do in canon while they fight, with Sasuke maybe trying to humiliate Danzo more by making fun of the fact that an idiot like Naruto was able to get ahead of him in the race to become Hokage. Eventually, Sasuke ends up stabbing Danzo through the chest, killing him. But that's when Danzo appears behind Sasuke, having used Izanagi, and tries to kill Sasuke back. And this time, he actually manages to stab the young Uchiha in the back with a kunai. Remember, Sasuke hasn't manifested his Susanoo yet, he doesn't know about Izanagi, and total chaos is going on around him. So I think this is a likely outcome. Sasuke collapses. Seeing this, Jugo goes berserk and attacks Danzo, knocking him away from Sasuke with a rocket-propelled kick. Karin, screaming and crying, runs out of the shadows in an attempt to get to Sasuke, but an Anbu sees her and tries to kill her with a fireball jutsu, which is blocked by Suigetsu's water jutsu. Instead of going after the Anbu, Suigetsu runs beside Karin and guards her until she reaches Sasuke, who's bleeding and paralyzed due to his spine being damaged. Karin forces Sasuke to bite her arm while Suigetsu is desperately fending off a dozen Anbu at once. Jugo is still going after Danzo, and after a little cat-and-mouse game, he's able to get a hold of the old man. The brute bashes his skull in, killing him in the process. Jugo boasts about how he killed the old man, but then he's suddenly hit in the back by a powerful wind bullet jutsu, which dices him up, leaving the monster in a bloody pulp. Still, Jugo attacks Danzo again, this time blasting him with some chakra beams. Danzo is able to dodge for a little while, but soon gets tagged and vaporized. Jugo falls to his knees, reverting to his base form after taking that brutal wind attack as Danzo appears behind him. He used Izanagi once more. Seeing how the current situation is going, Madara gets disappointed. Sasuke got caught off guard and the same thing happened to Jugo. Meanwhile, Karin and Suigetsu are desperately trying to heal their comrade. The masked man had abducted about 15 Anbu at this point. That should be enough. He would have liked to let Sasuke handle this on his own, but it seems like he yet again overestimated the Uchiha. He's about to step in when Sasuke wakes up thanks to Karin's efforts. At this point, only a few Anbu remain, but their fallen comrades had, little by little, whittled down Suigetsu. He is now barely standing. "Take a break, Suigetsu. I'll handle the rest," Sasuke says as he massacres the remaining Anbu. The Avenger turns to Danzo, only to see him holding an unconscious Jugo in front of himself. "Don't make a move unless you want your friend here to die." After a moment of silence, Sasuke says a single word. "Friend?" Danzo feels a sharp pain in his chest. Sasuke stabs Danzo straight through Jugo, shocking Suigetsu, Karin, and Danzo, while Madara smiles under the mask. That's my boy. Danzo fades away and soon reappears next to the place where he died. Looks like Sasuke is even more cold-hearted than Danzo could have anticipated. The old man then summons his giant elephant, which starts sucking everything in the surrounding area into its mouth like a vacuum. Sasuke doesn't have the Susanoo here, so he gets pulled in the direction of the mouth. He tries to fire a fireball at the beast, but Danzo blocks it with a water-style jutsu, cancelling it out. Suigetsu and Karin are hiding behind some pillars, and Madara is out of reach. Jugo is lucky enough to be under the summoning, so he is not being sucked in, leaving Sasuke as the only one at risk. Tens of Anbu corpses are flying into and disappearing inside of the mouth of the elephant. Sasuke can't resist the pull any longer, and is sucked in as well. The beast shuts its mouth. Everything goes quiet, until the desperate cries of Karin ring out across the room. Back at the summit. Naruto! The Hokage is probably dead. No one has ever survived a lighter bomb. Phew, looks like I made it just in time. Geez, old man, you're strong, a familiar voice echoes throughout the place. What? Naruto then pulls back his legs and delivers a double-legged kick to A's gut. The Raikage grunts in pain as he's launched away from the Hokage. He flies out of the dust cloud and hits the wall right next to Darui and C. Boss? Darui can't believe his eyes. The dust cloud settles and Naruto is revealed, standing tall. He doesn't seem too different, but everyone can tell that his demeanor has changed drastically. The only physical change are his eyes. They're surrounded by orange pigmentations and yellow. The shape of his pupils is also different. Naruto has entered Sage Mode. Thank goodness. Damn that kid. If he causes me to stress out like this every time he does something, I'll start aging in no time. The Raikage gets up. What is this? You're different from before. It's called Sage Mode, Naruto states confidently. The Hokage doesn't plan on making the fight last long. The Raikage once again charges in for an attack, but Naruto dodges and counterattacks, landing a devastating gut punch, damaging the Raikage even through the lightning armor and making him wince a little. This Naruto is weaker than the one from the war, but by scaling he should still be more than capable of doing this to the Raikage. Naruto then turns around and lands a spin kick to A's temple, sending him stumbling back. How did you get this strong? By following my master and fighting his previous pupil, who taught me that hatred is not the right way. Nonsense! The Raikage goes in for another attack, but this time going all out, full speed and power, not holding anything back. Naruto does the same. The two clash and send shockwaves that crack the wall of the building. The two warriors are both strong, but it's clear who holds the advantage. Naruto is able to dodge more hits. Whenever he lands a hit on the Raikage, the latter stumbles way more than Naruto does when he gets hit. The Hokage hits the Raikage with a knee to the jaw, and A stumbles backwards once again, stunned. Naruto takes this opportunity to make a clone and charge up a Rasengan. The Raikage quickly recovers and is just fast enough to block said Rasengan with both of his arms, but it's no use. The jutsu breaks through the lightning armor, shadows A's wrist guards, and crashes into his bare arms. The Raikage can't hold out any longer and is sent flying one final time into a pillar, which collapses on top of the man. A lifts the rubble off of himself, but is met with the Hokage standing over him. Neither says a word. Naruto holds up his hand in front of the defeated Raikage, offering to help him stand up. Reluctantly, A takes his hand. You defeated me fair and square. I'll hold my end of the deal. Sasuke is yours to deal with. Thank you for your understanding. You sure are strong, old man. I'm not an old man, the Raikage shouts as he grabs Naruto's head and starts crushing it in his palm comedically. Meanwhile, in the Root's hideout, Danzo is confident that he won the battle against Sasuke and prepares to fight Madara. Then, suddenly, a purple sword made of flames bursts out of the elephant's head. In a brutal fashion, the sword cuts the summoning's head in half, and the powered-up Sasuke jumps out, clad in a Susanoo ribcage. What? What is this? The third and final power provided by the Mangekyo Sharingan, the Susanoo. Madara, watching from a distance, is pleased. Then, a white Zetsu rises from the ground next to him. The fight at the summit is over. Naruto Uzumaki was victorious. No surprise there, he did beat Pain after all. They got done quicker than I would have liked, but no matter. Madara stands up and sucks himself into the Kamui dimension. Danzo was contemplating whether to use Shisui's eye on Sasuke or save it for Madara. He needs to use it now, otherwise it will all be over. Madara is nowhere in sight, so he prepares to use it on Sasuke. But just then, the masked man appears in front of Danzo, and before the latter can do anything, the Akatsuki leader rips out Danzo's right eye and hands it to Zetsu. Take good care of it. Don't worry, I will, Zetsu says as he slips into the ground. Sasuke is confused about what just happened, but Madara quickly explains the situation regarding Shisui's eye. I'll let you handle the rest, Sasuke. I have other matters to attend to. Make sure that you and your team get healed as soon as Danzo is killed. There's another battle up ahead. My associates are watching, so don't try to pull anything funny. Madara then teleports away. With this development, the battle goes very similarly as it does in canon. And that's the end of the 3-part Christmas special. Holy smokes, the first 2 parts of this What If series did super well in terms of views compared to my regular uploads. The story will definitely continue, but it won't be daily anymore since there's no way I can make these videos daily. Fun fact, this 3-parter took me pretty much the whole month to complete. And I also want to work on other content as well. Speaking of content, I'd like to inform you all about what will be happening with video making in the near future. So first of all, I'm having 2 weeks off, meaning I have 2 free weeks to make content without much interruption. Now obviously I won't be making videos 24/7, but I will be making much more progress than I would normally. In this time, I want to write out and voice record as many scripts for videos as possible, so that the only thing left would be the editing once my holiday is over. The next big upload will be the 3 legendary Sannin versus the 6 Paths of Pain. I want to get it out as soon as possible since it's already been delayed by over a month. But I also want to stock up on other video scripts and recordings, so I'll probably split my attention 50-50 on this. I hope that I can get the Sannin video out in a couple of weeks, but I'm not promising anything since every time I say I'll make a video in a certain amount of time, I never actually manage to get it out in said time. Still, expect that to be the next big upload. I'll probably also do a few mini videos in the meantime, maybe some fun discussion videos like the one where I talked about what Obito should have done after Pain died. The 2 mini videos I have planned are how strong could you possibly get if you were transported into the world of Naruto, and another one about my boy Kakuzu. I'd also like to expand to some other anime at some point, maybe not like this month or the next month, but sometime this year definitely. So lately I've been rewatching and rereading One Punch Man, and I have some ideas for what I want to do and what I want to talk about it. So if you'd be interested in that, please let me know. Also, I want to make Dragon Ball content, Hunter x Hunter content, maybe 7 Deadly Sins content at some point as well. Like, there are many anime that I've watched and I would like to make content for, so if you'd be interested in any other anime besides Naruto, let me know. Also, just because I end up making other anime content, that doesn't mean that I'll stop making Naruto content. Oh, believe me, I have plenty of things I want to talk about concerning this Blonde's show. Versus battles, what if discussions, all that good stuff. Anyways, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you've had a Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate it, then I hope you had Happy Holidays. Have a nice day and I'll see you around.